Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Thank you for joining in. We're glad to have you. My name is Bukayo, and the product marketing manager for Eskimi Global. Today we'll be having Eskimi live, and we'll be talking about leveraging video content to amplify FMCG ad campaigns, a proper guide for media planners. We have in the house Muiwa Aleshinloye, Director for Digital Media at Policies Central and West Africa. And we also have Vita Garifulina, who is Business Director for Africa, to walk us through different phases for this conversation. Just to give some house rules and housekeeping rules, this is a fully recorded session. Questions will be taken in the questions section or chat section. We would take the presentations from users and then we can work from there.
So I think his internet is not the best today. Hi everyone. So basically, Bukaya told us to start like sharp. We don't wait anyone. So if you have your colleagues or friends who wanted to join the session, you can ping them because we'll be just starting and we have like 50 minutes. So yeah, maybe I will do the short introduction. So basically, not an introduction. So I'm Vita, simple as that, and Muiva. We will be talking about video today. So how to use video and why to use video, right? So I think that Muiva, we decided that you are going first. So you want to start?
Yes, sure, Vita. Let me just share my screen as we get into the discussions. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So I can't see my chat screen because it's gone full screen mode. So if you need to call my attention or something, Vita, please do that for me.
Sure.
All right, cool. So today I wanted to talk to us about how video as a format is really enriching how we work with FMCGs, particularly within the space in this region, and the role it plays when it comes to planning, when it comes to helping us drive reach, efficiencies, but also when it comes to action. And I know when we look at the category FMCG, we don't think that action is really something that is pertinent to FMCGs. But as the market has evolved, as business needs are changing, there is increasing need for us to look at driving action, considerable action, not just on the offline space, but online as well. And I'll just take us through a few slides that lays the context from the background point of view to say what are FMCGs looking at, what is the landscape, and why is the first or why the need for us to evolve and think about video in a different way. I know it's almost cliche. We've been saying it for years now that video is king. But that narrative has evolved and it has changed, and we're going to see how uh, that has taken flight. So first, let's look at some trends within the CWAP perspective. I understand that we have people joining us from across the world. And I wanted to give a broad sense from a Pan-Africa point of view. And a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. First is around the changing behavior in how we use devices, and how we use mobile. And we've seen that there's a lot more audience adoption when it comes to mobile phones. We've seen mobile phone penetration rise, not just in the big countries like Nigeria and Ghana, but looking at Senegal, looking at Cote d'Ivoire, looking at Burkina Faso, Cameroon, we're seeing mobile penetration increase in double digits year on year. And that just poses an opportunity for players in the industry to really reach that middle and bottom of the pyramid, who are adopting mobile first, who are looking at voice and data plans that are within their budgets, and they're looking at so of course you don't expect these guys to watch videos because they are very conscious about how they use their data. But there's that opportunity with a mobile phone in hand. It just opens up a whole world of opportunities to tap into that audience segment with personalized communication. And that's really relevant to players within the space. The other thing I wanted to call out is around fragmentation. And this would apply more to the middle and up class SECs, where you're looking at how we use video on demand with multiple providers like Netflix, like Amazon. And of course, we have our traditional players like DSTV and Showmax. But all of these platforms are separate, and they all have their own ecosystem. They all have their own advertising opportunities. And for us advertisers, it becomes a challenge because we're unable to find that unique identifier for the individual across those different touch points. And we understand that people actually spend a lot of time within these platforms, watching series, binge watching the weekends. How do we reach our audience across these different disjointed ecosystems? And so that's one trend and also an opportunity. Then I want to talk about new screens with gaming, not just your console gaming, mobile gaming. Again, with the, say, more affordable mobile phones in the market, with players like Transsion and Techno, Infinix, Itel, they've made phones more affordable. Samsung A series, right? And so there's a lot more phones and devices in the traditional household in Africa. And stats really say that we've increased the number of devices in our household, and these devices would include not just mobile phones, but TVs as well, or tablets, from 8.9 in 2017 to 14.8 in 2022. So it means that pretty much everybody in the home can actually have access to one device or the other, whether it's a mobile phone or a TV. And again, for advertisers, that's just huge opportunity. You can have products that speak to different age groups, different demographics, and you can reach them with a myriad of devices available in your traditional, in your typical household. And the final bit connects the rise of mobile as well as the internet penetration to our audience. So we've seen huge adoption in mobile, but in terms of internet, it's almost like the gateway to the internet is WhatsApp. And so WhatsApp plays a very big role in how the consumers enter into the internet, the world of internet, right? It's usually the gateway into that. It's easy adoption. It allows for you don't need a lot of data to access it. So, but it also has the opportunity for multimedia communication. So text, image, videos, of course. And that's setting the context to really show what FMCGs have as opportunities within Africa, within COR specifically. Let's go into the power of video. And first thing, I actually have a question. And Vita, please help me take a quick poll on this. So if we were to answer this question, which is more important? Is it the creative or is it the media platforms? Just a quick poll. Just drop it in the chat. Let's see what you think. Creative or media, which is more important when it comes to advertising? Just take a quick minute to answer that. Give everybody the opportunity to respond.
For now, 100% creative.
Interesting. Okay, keep going. So there are a lot of creative guys in the house.
So Bukayo decided to add that media is also important. But it's only him for now.
Okay. The odds are stacked against you. All right. So this is very interesting, and I've heard this debate for years, which is more important, creative or media. And typically creative guys would say, of course it's the creative, because if you don't have the message, whatever you do on media would not work, right? And media people would say, without the media placement, without the understanding of the audience, without the right format to convey the message, then it will also fall flat. And the reality is, and I think this is also why there's been not as much acceleration in the industry as we should, is because we see it as one or the other. The reality, and everyone that works in an integrated agency will tell you this, you actually need both to work efficiently and effectively. You need to have a media approach, you need to have a creative approach, and you need to have both teams work in synergy to make things work. If you don't have the right message, your media strategy, your media plans will not work, will not be effective. And if you don't have the right media strategy, the right media plans to push your creative message out there, you're not going to have any impact with regards to return on ad spend or return on investment, right? So it's really important that we see it as a collaborative, synergistic relationship rather than a either or. So that's the fun part. Let's move into other things. But realistically, and when we look at this actually cuts across all marketing communications over a period of time. And this research was done, and this is not to say this is more important than the other, but if you look at campaign ROI, depending on your objective, whether it's awareness, consideration, or conversions, depending on all of those metrics, your creative actually accounts for the quality of the creative actually accounts for about 40 to 70% of your campaign ROI. So again, which is really important that we work together as a team when it comes to campaign design and development, because it is that important, right? So we go forward and just move this. Right, so speaking more about video is the most common format when we look at the digital ecosystem, and this is not limited to social, it's across board. Looking at the programmatic universe, looking at WhatsApp, video is actually the most important, the most common format. And if you even drill down more specifically to the food and beverage category, it is the best or most common format when it comes to discovery of which products should I use, which beverage should I buy, when I'm coming up with my shopping list, when I'm considering and I have intent to purchase. And in terms of how that is split across short form videos, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. Long form videos, about 42%. Images with product tags, sponsored posts, branded content, they all play a significant role when it comes to product discovery within the food and beverage category. But I'm sure that there are correlations when we extrapolate that into other categories. Bukai, how are we tracking on time? Let me know to speed this up.
Yes, it should. You should see. You have 9:51.
Okay, great. All right. So speaking of short form content, and I'm sure we've seen how this has really risen over time. All the big social media platforms are pushing their short form formats massively, from TikTok to the Meta platforms to even YouTube with YouTube Shorts, right? And short form content has gone mainstream, and they now account for about 70% of the content that we watch or across social media platforms. So people will spend hours and hours watching those 10-second, 15-second cut downs rather than sit down to watch your 30-second or 60-second videos. And if part of your creative strategy involves you having multiple video content or a long form content, then you need to think about having short form cut downs that will speak to the different formats that are available across your touch points, whether it's social or programmatic. You need to think short form videos within your creative assets, right? And so I just wanted to play this example to see how that can be done. So you may think that, but for a brand that wants to pass a message, how do we do that? How can I almost like condense all of the creative ideas and creative juices that we've come up with and this brand message? How do I put all of that within a 10-second video? And there are best practices, and we'll look further slides will tell us specifically what we should be doing. But this is an example of a Milo ad. This was done by us here at Publicis. And the key to it is having a simple message, right? You put all of that within within your 10-second video. It can be cluttered, has to be simple, has to cut across, focus on that. And of course, we'll look a little bit more about other parameters. But let me just play this example real quick and we'll move forward. So it's very clear, it's very sharp. You know it's the brand Milo. The key message is there, the values they learn and spot the key for life. It is short, succinct, and straight to the point. And the takeout is always clear with regards to that. Even when you test across your BLS studies, you're testing for ad recall, short form contents always perform very well, particularly if you do that with a combination of other assets, right? So let me just move quickly into talking about brilliant basics when it comes to creating video assets that win. And there are five key callouts I want to call when it comes to creating great assets that work for you. And I added another sample video for us to refer to. The first is around your thumbnail. Now, a lot of people create videos, they have spent a lot of work, spend a lot of budget, and you shoot this nice video, but you forget that before your audience plays that, there is something called the thumbnail. That's what they see before they choose to say, should I play this video, especially if it's not on autoplay. And it does present some elements of branding. It gives us an opportunity to show without playing. So it's almost like a static image. And that gives a sense of what's in the video, and it motivates, it gives that incentive for your audience to click play. And so thumbnail branding is really important. It's also very important for us to create our content, our video content for sound off or sound off, sound on or sound off. So even if I choose not to put my volume on, can I still understand the message? Is there text to screen there within that video content so that I can follow and get the message even without listening to the audio? And also there's also that inclusivity elements there, right? We need to create this content and think about different audiences across board. Aspect ratio is another key, and I have a slide that highlights that. Now, something we've also noticed is we create content, we shoot landscape, right? We do 16:9 and we shoot. It's good for TV, it's good for YouTube, and your programmatic video, and that's about it. But there are several other placements that we need to create this and adapt these assets for. So which is important that media is in a conversation when that creative idea and the creative direction and even the production brief is being developed to say that we need this asset in this dimension. So shoot for landscape because you are shooting the TVC, but we also need a vertical version, right? And you share your dimensions so that it is shot for mobile. And the other bit is around optimal length for your video. And this is something that has to really cut across and has to be clear from the start. How long should this video be? Just because I've shot a TVC for 60 seconds does not mean I'm going to take that same TVC and just put it on digital. It does not work that way. So you need to think, what's the optimal length? And even if you need to have variations, then what are the variations? What are the optimal length for the different variations I would have or cut downs I'll have? So 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe a 30 second to match it up for a long form. But cutting it 60 seconds, just taking the same six seconds TVC and putting it on digital does not always work. So you just need to be clear about that. If you must do that, it has to be clear why, and that message cannot be done, cannot be put within that shorter video. And the final bit is around having your brand upfront, so that when within the first few seconds, and I'll say within the first 3 seconds, your brand is really clear to say that it's a brand Maggie, it's a brand Visa, it's a brand Milo, whatever the brand is, it has to show up within the first 3 seconds. So these are the 5 key Brilliant basics, and different platforms have different Brilliant basics, but these are common among the big players. So your Eskimi, your Google, and your Meta platforms. So I'll just play this sample video, and you can almost tick it across to all of these Brilliant basics to see how we ensure that we had the best video. Now, that's an example, and you can have different variations for your video. Just ensure that you, as much as possible, take these 5. If you can't do all 5, then at least you should do 4. So you have an 80% score within that. Sorry, let me just move to the next slide. Right, when you talk about aspect ratio, I'll go quickly. I know I'm running out of time. And dimensions. Really, it's best to have multiple assets, at least 3 assets that work for you and are able to help convey your message using different lengths and different dimensions. So traditionally, what people would have are your landscape, your 16:9, but now you're seeing more evolution towards the portrait aspect ratio for your video content. So you're starting to see the 1:1, your 4:5s, the 2:3s, and the likes. And depending on what platform you're advertising on, then you should choose the aspect ratio that works for you and the placement that gives you that inventory. I'm sure Vita will get into this, especially when we're talking about conversions. They need to have multiple assets that help you drive that message. And let me wrap up quickly. It's another checklist when it comes to creating your assets. It's almost like share this with your creative director, share this with your production team. When it comes to your intro, what you should have there when it comes to your brand logo should be introduced very quickly. In terms of your design, lighting is very important. You need to think away for the mobile phone rather than for the TV screen. Your clear call to action, your it can't be cluttered, right? It's a mobile phone. You have very short inventory. You have very short landscape to work with. So keep it minimalist as much as possible. Focus on the product, focus on the core message, and use multiple formats where you can. That will be all from me. Over to you, DK. Share my screen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miwa. That was an insightful session looking at integrated approach as well as data to back up that. For next session, we'll be taking Vita, and she will then take us through the media part. And I'm very happy that you mentioned where will be the right approach, creative or media, and having that conversation of it being both is quite very important and crucial to understand the intersection and how to use which and how. Over to you, Vita, and that will be it. Thank you.
Good. Do you see the purple slide?
Yes, we see the purple.
Yes, we see the purple slide.
By the way, thank you, Moiva, for wearing purple, just to support the Eskimi brand. So yeah, so basically I will go maybe and share some data and some examples more for programmatic, but I hope it's going to be beneficial for you guys. So just very shortly, so since you joined, I'm sure that you know about Eskimi. Just to mention, so my presentation, I say our because Bukayo, of course, helped to prepare it. So it will be more kind of a global because we run a lot of video campaigns globally, not only in Africa, but also in Europe, in Asia, everywhere in the world. So basically, on Eskimi, you can do quite precise targeting for video campaigns and quite precise reporting and analytics, basically. So we have established presence globally at the moment. We started in Africa, but now we kind of expanded pretty much everywhere. And then our main clients are agencies, global agencies and local agencies and the brands. So myself, I started with Eskimi 11 years ago and have quite a lot of experience working with the FMCG brands and strategies around that. And video is a very important part of that strategy, right? So straight to the point. So video today, why basically, and what is the consumer behavior? So you can see from 2018 to the last year how the video usage basically increased, and it's going to be growing, right? So it is very important for you to have video as part of your strategy. So here we are comparing video with like static ads. Now we're not talking about like rich media, interactive ads. We're talking only about static banners. So you can see that half of the audience basically look for video related to the product before even going to a store and purchasing it. Then 72% of users or people basically have higher purchase intent when video ads are used compared to static banner. And this is that 86% of users, they actually fail to notice static ad, but you kind of cannot miss the video ad. So basically, these are the numbers when we talk about the comparison of running video ad versus the static ad. So on consumer behavior, I think three main kind of pillars. So First of all, when you are running video, you engage emotionally with the consumer, right? So when you as a user, you're watching the video, so obviously it's a very different emotion than rather you seeing just like a static ad. And of course, you can tell the whole story in like 6 seconds, and like short videos Muiva showed. So basically there's like the whole story in that, right? So it can be very short, very sharp. Then, of course, sharing is, well, you only share videos usually with with your friends, with your LinkedIn communities. So the social sharing is much higher when we talk about videos. And of course, increased retention. So these are some numbers. As you can see, 72% of consumers report that they would rather learn about the product or service by a video rather than reading some long texts, I guess, and or seeing just a static banner where you actually need to read. Then 64% of consumers will make a purchase after watching branded videos on social platforms. And 60% of users or site visitors watch videos without reading any text. So I think that when you're thinking about like using static ads or videos, you need to think about a user and imagine that you are the user who's going to your site. And if you have like long text, no one will read that. But if you have like a short, straight to the point video, so I guess everyone would watch that. So video in FMCG industry. So here we decided to kind of focus on FMCG because you can show so much. So for example, Nestle examples, right? So recipes and all of that you can actually put very easily into short video. Some case studies and what are the formats. So basically for FMCG brands, the power of the video and the main things to use video for is first of all to increase the sales. And it actually helps. Then of course the trust is being built because in the video you can have like much more content. So building trust is the second. Then, of course, brand building, creating an awareness and engagement, basically. And, of course, brand recall, which comes from all of these. So here is the creative part. So these are just some examples of videos we've run or we've created. So you can see high impact videos. So basically where there is like the whole screen takeover. Then we can have in-banner video. I like this format because it is like really affordable, let's say, or okay, cheap basically. So cost per view is like really, really low. So it is like a really good format. Then rich media can also contain videos. So as an end card, or maybe you need to do some action and then you watch the video, right? And then we also have rewarded videos. It's not like a very common ad, I would say, but if you want to reward your users for watching the video, it is also possible. So this is Shazam. Yeah, you can hear it. So the end card is the ad was run in Greece, so it is the language I guess most of us don't understand. So, but the button here says your calendar. So what happens here? You have like a floating banner, and then it takes over the whole screen when you click on it, and it plays YouTube video, and then YouTube actually counts that also on their site as a view. Another example. So we had like several trailers recently. Yeah, I did not watch the movie yet, so I hope you guys watched it. So yeah, and another example for Disney Plus. So yeah, so basically several examples of like really high impact videos. And then one of the case studies, so basically one of our clients, Helion, they exceeded the planned KPIs with the vast video format. So the situation and well, basically the challenge we had was overcoming advertising and compliance during flu seasons, right? So, you know, Helion is pharmaceuticals, so it's also kind of a niche, basically, segment, which on Eskimi you can actually do. So our approach was vast video. It was run in Europe, and basically the KPI was brand awareness and consideration. So you can see some of the numbers. Exceeded number of impressions was by 44%, almost 45, almost 60% views exceeded, and the VTR was more than 98%. So this is, I think, the most important slide, basically. So what are the best practices and what you need to take into consideration? So we suggest always to have like shorter videos, so not longer than 30 seconds. Then, of course, you need to tell a story in that video, and you need to hook user in like first 3 seconds. I would say for me, it would be even 2 seconds. When I watch video, like it's something like really cool has to happen in like first seconds. Then the format you should follow is 300 on 250. And of course, best to have IAB compliant. Then for reporting, you can see that we have for data reporting, creative tools, we have these partners. And I would say that our video reporting is quite good because you can see how many users watched first quartile, half video and so on, who muted, unmuted, paused and resumed. So then it gives you, that report gives you understanding if your video is good, or maybe you actually need to hook users in first 3 seconds. And of course, brand safety tools are all there. So Double Verify, Mode, IIS, just to help you to keep your video in very brand safe content. So yeah, so this is like kind of also an advice. I don't know how to run your video campaigns. So first, of course, you need to understand the content you want to put in. Then understand what are the goals of your video campaign, what you want to achieve with that. Identify the target audience, which is also very important. So for example, if it is like mass market brand, so it's not that important, but let's say if we're talking about Maggi, we need to kind of identify people who love cooking, for example. So then figure out what story you want to tell there with your campaign. Of course, follow the creative requirements. It is also very important so that your video can play not only on desktop, but also on mobile and even like low-end devices. So this is where you need to think about all the formats. And of course, then you identify the right platform or channel. Do you want to run it only on social, or do you want to reach more people and use programmatic, or just YouTube? And then execute. Yeah. That's it from my side.
Super. Thank you. I mean, I think that's time right there. But yeah, we
I
still have
told
a
you,
lot of questions.
I told you I do it quickly usually. I don't like sticking to like slides and, you know, have long presentations. So maybe more time for questions.
Oh, we will take learning. We will take learning from you. But the data side, does anybody have any questions so far? We definitely can take questions in the question chat. So someone asking, how do you set up a video high impact campaigns?
Yeah, so I think the content is like very important, right? So I remember then basically when you know the content, then you can know like what like kind of a format you want to use. So these the videos I showed with like a high impact video. So obviously it is like a movie trailer, so you can go all nuts, right? And I remember we had one bank campaign, and the video was like really boring. So the reporting was actually showing that people are just dropping. They are not finishing like watching it, and they are dropping after like 2-3 seconds, right? So I think here it's like referring to Muiva's question, right? So is it creative first or media first? So creative first. So I see
Great.
the other question. Yeah, basically it's more kind of a technical.
Yes. So I see the question: how do you set up Java Creative for one-on-one screen takeover?
So on our side,
So
we
for
just
that,
need. Yeah. Do you want to go answer it? Yeah. So for on our side, we just need you to share with us like open files, like PSD files, so that we can do like this animation for like floating ad, because it's not video. Floating ad is like animated ad, right? So we need you to share with us open files so that we can create that, and then the video itself, so that when a user clicks basically on that floating ad, the video starts playing. Let me just find some examples. Yeah, so I see, Joseph, your question. AR and Metaverse, we had another webinar and the whole kind of event around that. So it's not like plan, it's already there. So AR, basically we have this formats where in the banner you can actually take a selfie, apply some filters, and actually download it or share with your friends on social. For Metaverse, I think for us it is in-game advertising, because with in-game advertising, it's like a first step into like a metaverse basically. So you should, I can send you our in-game deck. I see you already,
definitely.
Bukai shared some of them, right?
Yes. So I just wanted to share some examples of high impact campaigns that we had in the slides, just so people can see what it looks like in a live environment. So I see another question from James. Say, do you only work with Meta, YouTube, Google, etc.? We have built a lock screen based in Kenya and have a community already. If yes, we can talk later.
I am sending your details to our Kenya team, but yeah, we do work. We cover all these platforms basically, so then it's kind of easy to actually compare the results, and video is a good example because you run a video on, let's say, YouTube programmatic and Facebook in like one platform, you can easily compare the reporting in one place. So I will share your contacts with our local team. They will get back to you today.
Amazing. So we have another question. I'm really loving the way the questions are flowing in and very fast. Are cinema graphs and GIF still relevant in recent years as an alternative to regular video? So I think I'll let Muyiwa take this. Muyiwa, can you hear us?
Yeah. It very interesting. So there was this campaign we ran here. It's for a dairy brand. It's called Ideal, and we used GIFs, but it wasn't just the format. It was, like I said, it's you need to think both creative and media. It was the fact that you know these common stickers that you see on WhatsApp, right? It's trendy and people get it. We created stickers that had local language like slangs, but they were Ghanaian. So imagine seeing Nigerians. Imagine seeing something like Jima Soon for a Nescafe brand. You know, it connects like you. It doesn't feel like you are selling, right? It doesn't. You get it. Jima Soon is wake up, don't sleep, or don't slumber, something like that. Let me not be too. So, but it's something that's really connects with the audience, and then you put it within the brand world, and and it just takes off. So it is still very relevant, but you need to work with both the creative team for them to get the right message, the right insights, and then with your media partners to see how you can push that at scale across the right channels. So you may be thinking, oh, is it just Instagram? Whereas you could activate it on WhatsApp. You could also look at programmatic platforms. Can I do more than that? So when it says Gmail, can I have Can I have it clickable that it opens up to my e-commerce platform, or can it take me to go watch the video concerning the campaign? So you need to build it out and work collaboratively with your creative team. But I think it has massive potential still, and it's still quite relevant.
I think especially in African context, right? So video in some markets might like eat a lot of data and so on. So some of the users under maybe a lower socioeconomic class, they would be kind of thinking, should I watch this video or not? So then you can actually have GIFs as an alternative.
Yeah.
Yes, I entirely agree with that.
I just shared in the chat one of the examples of like screen takeover, referring to the question above. So yeah.
Yes, I also shared an example of an AR filter that we did during the Valentine period, where, like Rita mentioned, you can take a selfie and have different variations. So that can be applied in different creative ways from your brand using video content as well.
And yeah, so we have that, and we also have one with the mic where you need to blow into your mic basically, and you make the leaves be blown away, and then the video can start playing. So I think that wrapping video into this kind of rich media is also kind of very cool and innovative. So just, think outside the box. So for the spend, what is the average spend to run a successful video campaign in Nigeria or Ghana? I think this is where you need to understand your target audience, how many users are there within your target audience, understand how many times you want them to see the videos. So Nigeria and Ghana, not only population, but the number of internet users is 6 times higher in Nigeria than in Ghana, right? So I think that it depends on your target audience, and then you can actually calculate based on impressions or video views, and then we would tell you the budget. But I would say for video campaign, 3K for Ghana, for Nigeria at least 5K, right, in average.
Super.
Okay, strict with the time today.
There's a reputation to manage. We try and manage the time, and we try and keep Eskimi live to an hour of the time. We do this every month going forward. Do we have any more questions from the chat before we call it a day? I see Miguel asking a question saying, what new innovations can we test in our markets, and how much is the lead time to build a creative?
Yeah, so basically a lot of innovations. So I think the recent ones with all the trailers are the ones, and also with the artificial. So basically, artificial AR. I'm thinking about something else, but so basically you can actually use camera, you can use mic, and you can do whatever. So if it is FMCG brand, for example, so you can blow into your mic and something starts boiling or something, So definitely a lot of those executions, and I think we can send you even more in links so that you can actually test it yourself. Then for the creation time, depends on the complexity. So we have this Super Mario ad where basically we were given just the video, and the team had to extract the Mario guy, animate him so that he moves and so on. So of course this would take a week maybe, but for custom rich media, so usually it is 2 to 5 working days. Then if you need it faster, we have templated rich media, which also you can upload the video, and let's say we have this format very easy, scratch to reveal. So you scratch the banner and the video starts playing, so you can have it immediately. It doesn't require basically any time to create.
Cool, thanks.
Cool, yeah, Miguel will add Publicis logo. I don't know, it's on Bukayo why he did not add the logo to my slides. Sorry about that.
This Publicis logo somewhere. I mean, in the case study, you see it's right there. We wanted to make sure it stands out rather
Yeah,
than it's
actually,
lumped together with everybody.
the whole case study is actually Publicis. So
Exactly. Great. Um, Thank you so much, everyone. We don't have any questions anymore. We'll call it a day. Thank you for joining. My name is Bukayo. So we do Eskimi live webinar once a month. We'll also be having another session next month. Please, if you have any question after this webinar or you would like to contact anyone, my email is ulubukai@eskimi, or you can send an email to sales@eskimi. That will be all for
yeah,
today.
I think that
Thank you
if you
for
have
having.
any questions, so you can also ask myself or Muiva. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, so you can just also drop us a message.
Sure.
Thank you, Bukayo, for
Thank
organizing.
you.
Thank you, Muiva, for joining.
Thank you, Miwa, for your time. And Vita,
Thanks,
have a great
guys.
day.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.